Yo, what up? How's it going? And welcome back for another video. In today's video, we'll be talking about what I think are some of the biggest issues with set 7 and what are some things that we can hope to see in 7.5. So some possible solutions and things that I just kind of really hope we see in 7.5 that can really save set 7 and put it back on track for what a lot of people are calling one of the worst sets of all time. So we'll see how it goes. In this video, I'll be going through the things that I see issue with, but this is really just my perspective and kind of the echo chamber that I live in of all the people I follow on Twitter and Twitch and kind of the echo chamber of North American high elo. So I'd be interested to see what any different perspective you guys might have. If you want to put it in the comment section below, I would actually be interested to read it. I'm not just saying that for YouTube. So I can better get another perspective, because getting that new perspective kind of helps me understand the game a little bit better, and also helps me understand what Riot might be thinking, because they kind of look at a lot of different perspectives when they make their decisions. So make sure to put that down below if you kind of disagree with what I'm talking about, or if you agree. I'd love to see all that stuff. But anyways, that out of the way, let's get into the video. All right, so my biggest issues with this set is dragons and kind of just how they are. We'll get into it. Astrals, obviously, for obvious reasons, I feel like, and the lack of a 4-cost AP carry. So that's the main things we're going to be talking about. Each topic we're going to go through, I'm going to explain what I have an issue with, why I have an issue with what I'm talking about, and then what are some possible solutions, or what are some things we can hope for. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing is dragons. So the issue I have with dragons is if dragons are meta, then mid game just doesn't exist. So let me talk about how every game for me goes right now, and tell me if this sounds like your game. Every single game feels like you should econ on stage 2 and 3, fast 7 on 3, 5, or 4-1, depending on your spot, and roll for your dragon on level 7, go level 8 for upgrades, repeat. Every single game. There's a complete lack of playstyle diversity, and this has been present since dragons have been meta. This has been the only way to play. There's really no other reroll options. Like, you can reroll like set and stuff like that sometimes, or if you giga high roll, giga high roll like Olaf comp, or I think they're like Karma if you get like the very niche circumstance. But there's really no other way to play the game, and it's not about like being able to play reroll or anything like that. It's just every single game I know exactly how I'm going to play it. Every game doesn't feel any different. It's just what dragon am I going to play. That is how it feels every single game that I play. So yeah, so the lack of playstyle diversity just makes the game extremely boring to me. It just feels really, really, really boring. I get it. It's dragons, guys. We're supposed to be playing the dragons. It's Dragonlands, but it just feels so unbelievably boring to me. And that's my biggest issue. The other issue is when you hit a dragon, if someone hits a dragon on stage 2 or 3, which honestly happens all the time, like someone just naturals a dragon or they get it from that orb, it completely disrupts the flow of the lobby and the tempo. And so it just like completely warps the game. And another issue with that completely warps the game is that is another way that it prevents like 1 and 2 cost reroll builds from ever being like truly viable unless they're really broken. Because a lot of times you're playing like 1 or 2 cost reroll builds, you are sacking your stage 2 and early parts of stage 3, and then you're like sending it into like a roll down to hit your 2-star carries, and hopefully get close to hitting your 3-star. And the idea when playing reroll a lot of times is so that you can idea with reroll is a lot of times you just lose early to get as much gold as you can, and then you roll it down on stage 3 and you try to win stage 3 and then be stable on stage 4, and then hopefully your comp is fully complete by stage 5 when everyone else also has their complete comp. So that's the idea of how like the tempo kind of works. But right now it just feels really impossible to do that, because if you like sack early game to try to like spike the stage 3 board, it just doesn't really work, because some jackass is going to hit a dragon and you're not gonna be able to streak and everything is ruined. And then also like another jackass is gonna hit a dragon, or somebody else who also full econ in the early game, they're just gonna go 7 on 4-1 and they're gonna hit a completed late game comp on 4-1 or 3-5, and you're just like, what is happening? How do I even play the game? And so that's why every game just feels the same. Like, you just need to play exactly the same every game. Go level 7 on 3-5, send all your gold, or go level 7 on 4-1, hit a dragon, then go wait for your upgrades. So that is my biggest issue, is the lack of diversity in how you can play the game. It just feels awful. The other issue I have is comp diversity. So dragons have almost completely monopolized the carry role in the game, except for Corki. Corki's the only really like other viable carry that you play every game, and that's because it utilizes Idis, which is the only dragon that isn't a carry, that it can't be utilized as a carry. So it feels very difficult to base your comp on anything but a dragon. And I realize it's Dragonlands. We're supposed to base our things on dragons, but it gets like a dragon carry. And I really like building comps around tanks. I like building comps around supports. I like having the option to do that. Obviously, you usually build your comps around your carry, right? But I really like the idea of like being able to build comps around support units. A lot of people always tell me that never existed, but I mean, I don't know. I've been doing it for years. It's just a lot of people don't play in that way. But I think a lot of people do play the way that I play it and try to build like unique comps, and you get a lot of satisfaction from that. And it's just not possible to do that. For example, a comp that I used to make with another very similar mechanic as dragons in set 4, I used to play Chosen Janna all the time, man. I loved playing Chosen Janna, and I'd build my whole entire comp around that. And I play that in high elo. I won a tournament playing that, playing Chosen Janna. You know, I got second place in an open qualifier, 500 players, and I was playing Janna carry, you know, in my final game. Essentially, I mean, I was building my entire comp around Janna. I thought that was so fun because you could play Janna and you could flex between all of the 80 carries because she buffed 80 carries. That's what she did as a unit. But that's just not possible in this set because all the dragons are carries except for Idas, and the dragons are really strong. So you got to just build your entire comp around the dragon. So and the other issue with like comp flexibility and creativity is all the dragons are Colossus units. So if you guys didn't play set 6, Colossus units, they take up 2 units on your team. So it's the same mechanic as Colossus, and dragons have the same mechanic built in. And so most builds feel auto-complete with only 1 or 2 flex spots. Basically, every time I hit a dragon, I know exactly what my board's gonna look like. If I'm playing Shoyu, I'm playing the 6 Jade units, and I'm playing the 6 Jade units, and I'm playing Lulu, and I'm playing Bard, and I'm playing 1 off carry, and that off carry is either going to be Corki, Yasuo, or Talon. That is every single game. My build looks exactly the same. The only other flex spot is I'll sometimes play Soraka, but it's just the 6 Jade units, Lulu, Bard, and then a third carry. It can be anybody. It can even be Sona. So like, I know exactly what I'm gonna play. If I'm playing Deja, I'm playing Cavaliers, and I'm playing Lulu or Bard in my backline. And then the only difference from that is if I have a Mirage emblem, then I'm going to play Yasuo, of course. And play 6 Mirage, and I just drop one of my support units, my Cavaliers. If I don't have a Mirage emblem and I hit a Yasuo and I have good items, then I'm going to play Yasuo and Yone and drop one of my Cavaliers, drop one of my support units, and that's my build. Every single game, it just feels autocomplete. I know exactly what I'm going to play with very small variations. It feels like I have no creative freedom to try to come up with like some cool tech, except for like very specific circumstances with augments and emblems, that sort of thing. So what are some solutions to dragons? So I just sat here and bitched for a minute. What are some solutions I have for dragons? So this one I got from TFT Alex M, to high elo European player, I believe. I follow him on Twitter and I see he's posted a lot, has some good takes, and this is one of the good takes I got from him, and it made me think about it. So make the dragons work on a different odd system, similar to how they balanced Chosen in set 4. I think Chosen is a very similar system to dragons. That's why it's really easy to compare it. So if you guys didn't play Chosen, this is kind of how it worked, is they had separate odds, completely separate odds. So like a 4-cost Chosen didn't have the same odds as a 4-cost non-Chosen unit. It makes it like a little complicated, but it's not really. There'll be a table above it that you can see. So it's really not as complicated as it sounds if you guys didn't play set 4. So essentially what I am asking for is making it to where you can't hit an 8-cost on level 5 and level 6. So right now you can hit a 4-cost. Obviously you can hit a 4-cost on level 5 and level 6. The odds are very small, but you can hit them. But the 4-cost and the 8-cost units work on the same system. So it's kind of like hitting a Chosen unit, a Chosen 4-cost. At least that's the way it feels to me. It's like hitting a Chosen 4-cost on level 5 and level 6, which just feels very strange. So the idea is that we could go to a system where you can't hit an 8-cost on level 5 and level 6. 8 costs become unlocked at level 7, which is what they did for 4-cost Chosens in the past to balance Chosen, or balance Chosen, whatever. And you can't hit a 10-cost on level 7, 10-cost unlock on level 8. I would actually love that. It wouldn't solve all of our problems, of course. We might still have the same tempo issue of the game of where you just want to get the 7 so you can hit your dragons, obviously. So that doesn't exactly fix the tempo problem, but it can fix like the way stage 3 can be played a little bit. It can fix allowing people to try to play these reroll builds where, a lot less people are going to be hitting dragons on stage 3 and later parts of stage 2. So a lot less people are going to be high rolling out of their ass and doing that stuff because they actually have to hit level 7 in order to hit it. So that kind of opens the door for people who want to play reroll and stuff like that to be able to roll down and hit their stuff on stage 3. It allows you to play 2-cost and 3-cost base comps a lot easier. And then also the game won't get warped out of control by, 2 people hit a dragon randomly on level 5 or level 6, and you're just like, bro, what do I'm trying to play the game, and all these jackasses have dragons on stage 3. What's happening? So it limits the ability for the game to just get warped out of control because you actually have to be level 7 in order to hit the big thing. You know, it's not perfect again because that would still just be like a fast 7 style meta, but that is a way to kind of fix stage 3 a little bit. Cool. And here is what I actually really want. I think that's a solution that the devs probably will do. And I think it is decently likely that could happen and is a realistic solution that I think the devs would actually try. Now, here's what I actually want. This is what I actually want. I want all the 8 cost dragons to be frontliners or support units. I want them to all be like Idis, to be a plug and play, you know, frontliner support that you can play any carries with. And so the game truly starts to be balanced around the actual 4 costs, which I always feel like the 4 costs are the heart of the set. And right now they don't feel like it's the dragons. Of course, we're in Dragonlands, but I think that'd be a very cool thing. And then we could have the exciting units that I know the devs really want to have. You know, they really want dragons to be exciting, do these really cool stuff, you know, for casual players, all that good stuff. The 10 costs could be that. So all the 10 cost dragons, so like Shyvana and Aushin or whoever they have in 7.5 can be the big exciting dragons that do the big damage, do the big explosions, all the cool stuff could be on the 10 costs, which I felt like has always been reserved for legendary units and not really for 4 costs. 4 costs has just been like cool, fun units. They don't do crazy stuff on your board, but are just really fun. So that is what I'm going for. And so if we did this will make flexing so much easier and fixes the issues of dragons monopolizing the carry role. So what I mean by flexing be easier, even though we're in a pretty flexible meta right now in the game, flexible just between the dragons. But you know, like it opens the door a lot more to have situations where you know, like the Shimmer Dragon, Idis, is the best frontliner for Corki, unless you don't have a Last Whisper, then it's Siphon. You know how right now you can play Idis with Corki, and then like, you know, sometimes you can play like Shimmer Xayah, you know, that's like a thing you can play sometimes, but it's very specific. You know, we get in more situations like that where we have like a Shimmer Dragon and there's like 4 standard carries, like the 2 AP, the 2 AD, and then you can kind of like, each of them have different levels of efficiencies. They use it, like maybe Corki's the best with this, but Xayah is like 80% as good. One of the AP carries is like really good with it as well. And another AP carry is like 60% as efficient with this frontline option. But we have like 3 of those dragons or 4 of those dragons that we can kind of play around. And so you don't need to, you know, you just need to hit one of them and you can kind of build your comp based off of your actual 4 cost or 3 cost carries rather than just dragons every single game, and your build's looking autocomplete. So this would help builds not looking autocomplete, because once you hit the dragon, you actually have to figure out what your carries and support units are going to be based off of that, instead of just like you hit, you know, Deja's your carry, therefore I know exactly the best support units and the best tanks to play with them. So I think you can open up some doors like that and to do some other stuff. This will also make dragons feel much less oppressive to high roll on stage 2 and stage 3. So assuming they don't change the odds and you can still high roll them on 2 and 3, yeah, it would make them a lot less oppressive, because there's not going to be, you know, this dragon that's just one-shotting your team like Siphon and Deja, that sort of thing. You know, it'll just be things like Idis. You know, Idis is very strong on stage 3, obviously, but you know, it'd be more units like Idis that just kind of buff your team rather than, you know, like full on one-shotting. Like there's no way you're going to beat this guy because, you know, it's just a dragon and you're I don't know, you're carrying like a, I don't know, you're carrying like a Karma and they're carrying a Deja. Like what? What is happening? Anyway, so I think that could be an awesome solution. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not. But I think that'd be really cool. I think that goes against the devs' philosophy. I think they want all the dragons to be like super sexy and cool, and only a few of them be like Idis, you know. But I think it'd be really cool if they just made the 10 costs like that. And I feel like that's a philosophy they've done in the past, of the legendary units are the big, cool, and exciting units, and the 4 costs are just like very stable, very balanced, very cool, not super game warping. So I think that would be a very, very, very cool, and that's what I really, really, really hope for. Okay, let's talk about Astral. And Astral, honestly, I talked a lot about dragons, and I think dragons are the most reasonable thing to, you know, fix in a way. But Astrals have been the biggest offender of this set overall. I mean, guys, we had 6 weeks of hard Astral forcing into Nami and Varus. You know, 2 weeks of Astral toggling after that. We had a week or 2 of peace where Astrals weren't a problem, and now we're back again. Today we have a new Astral bug where you can hit an ASOL 2-star on level 6 without 3-starring the other Astral units. You can just straight up hit them pretty reliably if you know how to bug abuse. You know, don't do it. I don't do it. But yeah, Astrals have just been the biggest problem. It's pretty much sunk this entire set. You know, I just complain a lot about dragons, and I don't like dragons, and I think the dragons are not very good for TFT overall. But Astrals have really sunk this set. So I'm not a big fan for obvious reasons. Bugs aside, I don't like how you can guarantee to hit a comp. You can guarantee you're going to hit your carry unless you're triple contested. But to the devs' credit, they eventually balanced Varus and Nami to a decent spot. So I'm actually fine with that type of trait being in the game. Like at first I really like didn't want it in the game, and like I still like don't really like that you can guarantee hit it, but you know, I don't have a big issue with it now. Now that it's like reasonably balanced, I actually really don't have a big issue with Varus. I think it is. I think they just have to be really on top of that balance, and I bet they're going to swap out some units if they keep Astral. So I really hope they can get on top of that really fast, because it is so oppressive when Varus is like really strong and stuff like that. So I'm actually okay with it being in the game, and I think it's unlikely to remove it. But at this point, I don't even know if removing Astrals is the way. At this point, the devs is I've lost a little bit of trust in them. I love the TFT devs, and I think they're the best devs in gaming. Like how responsive they are, how much they listen to their community, how much this game gets updated. But if I'm being honest, I've honestly just kind of lost trust that they can pull off a like cool econ style trait in the mid set, unless they reprint an old one. Unless the devs are just gods. Unless the devs are just gods and they like started working on this a long time ago, then we can get a new whole like trait that's kind of like Astral, that's like a fun thing for casual players, a fun econ type style, like guarantee hit type of thing, you know, like Yordle style, that sort of thing. And I think it's unlikely we'll get a new trait. So I think Astrals might just be the way. And it's really just a concept of like, it's like the devil you know might be better than the devil you don't know. Because we have all these bugs already, and they've ironed out most of them, and they've had this time to work on this whole new set, and hopefully they can just like rewrite the code or something. I'm not a programmer. My girlfriend's a programmer, but I'm not a programmer. But it seems like they just have some issue with their code, and they're just like band-aid fixing. I don't really know how to explain it, but it feels like this time off will allow them, or this time to work on this big new set might allow them to just like really iron it out. And so maybe keeping Astrals is the way. And whether you don't like that, like it's like something you can guarantee hit, as long as it's decently balanced, it's not that. I mean, just look at Varus now. Before we had this new bug, Astrals were not that oppressive, and they were just like fine to be in the game. You kind of play them when you're low rolling. So I'm actually not calling for Astrals to get removed unless the devs can just like really pull off a really cool new trait. But I've just kind of lost a little bit of trust, and I just hope they don't take a big swing with something crazy like that, because I have Astral bug fatigue at this point, and I just want there to not be some crazy bug in the game that is game breaking the game, like it has been several patches of the set. More often than not, the game has been broken because of Astrals, whether it's bugs or just terrible balance at the beginning of the set that made it, you know, you can hard force this build that you are guaranteed to hit. So I'm actually calling for, unless the devs are gods, I actually just don't want them to remove it, and just like keep it balanced, and you know, fix the code, whatever they need to do. I'm not a programmer. Whatever they need to do, I just don't want any game breaking bugs almost every single patch next set. And so whatever they need to do to make that happen, whatever they need to do. Anyways, all right, let's talk about 4-cost AP carry. So if you guys have noticed, we don't have a single 4-cost AP carry. The only AP carries we have that are in that 4-cost range is Deja. And then the other ones are, you know, it's just dragons are the AP carries. And so if you guys haven't played TFT for a long time, we've always had this kind of standard system of 2 AP carries, one of them being like a Sojin user. They're going to have a big directional cast. Think like Lux, Vel'Koz, Asol in set 4.5. And then we have a blue buff user. Think like Karma from set 5. Can't remember any more off the top of my head for some reason. But you get what I mean. So it's like someone who casts a lot, kind of chips down the enemy team. And then we have 2 80 carries, 1 caster and 1 auto attacker, which we actually have that. We have Corki and we have Zaya. I would love to go back to that system. This would only work if they made more utility in tank dragons instead of all of them being carries, except for Idis, of course. This would be hard to implement without doing that, because then we would have way too many carries and not enough support units. And that would be the same problem that we had in 6.5, where there were no support units, there were only carries. And that also made the game very bland and stale. So I really hope that they add a 4-cost AP carry, 2 4-cost AP carries, and make the dragons make the 8-cost utility units. But it really, like, you can't do one without the other. I feel like it's mutually exclusive, because yeah, I think it'll just make it back in the 6.5, where we only had carries and no support units, and that was pretty boring. So they would have to make dragons support style units in order for this to work. But I really feel like this was a staple of TFT, and for like longtime players, I've really become accustomed to this, and I like it. I like that there's a Sojin user, I like that there's a blue buff user, and I like that there's an auto attacker and a caster 80 carry, and I like that we can build for those things, and I like that, you know, I really like that stuff. You know, I just like it. TFT just feels off without it. honestly. And this is just really going along with my issue with dragons of I just feel like every game I have to carry a dragon. It just feels really boring to me. So that's what I really want. The game just feels off. And I'm really not sure why they removed it. I don't know why they thought it would be okay to remove this thing that was really has always been a part of TFT and has always been successful, you know, and removed it in favor for like a new mechanic that is going to be like a seasonal mechanic. You know, dragons aren't going to stay forever. But you know, anyways, that's pretty much it with my criticisms and my solutions or things that I hope to get for the video. But I just want to say, like in closing, because it sounds like I'm flaming the devs a lot here, and I am, because I'm very disappointed with this set. You know, I was very hyped going in. I thought it could be the best set ever. It looked really cool. Thought it was gonna be like I thought it was gonna be better in set 4, which is my favorite set. And I'm just disappointed is all that it is. I'm not mad, I'm disappointed, that sort of thing. And I think the devs work really hard, and I think they take a lot of big swings. I think they take a lot of big risks. And when you take a lot of big swings, you miss sometimes. And sometimes you knock it out of the fucking park, okay? Sometimes you just hit it and it's just right. So I want the devs to keep taking swings. I don't want them to stick with what's always been great. And I know that's what I just said at the end of this, you know, like why they get rid of this system that was working super well and change it up completely. I love that the devs take these big fucking risks, but yes, you know, but you also got to recognize when they miss, and they just missed with this one. And I'm just hoping they're going to hit with the next one. That's it, guys. Anyways, that's it for the video. I appreciate you guys for watching. Like the video if you like the video. It helps me out a lot on YouTube. And again, comment down below with anything you want to comment. Maybe you like the video, or maybe you have a different perspective on me than I have. You know, I'd be open to reading that and stuff like that. I love reading different perspectives. Yeah, if you guys want more of me, I stream at twitch.tv, start trading TFT. I stream there on weekdays, and I post pretty much every day at twitter.com/trading TFT. I'll leave links below, so you can follow me there if you want more of me. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, that's it. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, fantastic night, wherever you are. I just hope you're doing well. See ya. Bye.